Hello, you little beautiful nerd, geek, freak, weirdos, and norms, I guess. This is Chesh, and today Wizards made me do it. They made me want to play stacks. How bizarre. So this is Liesa, Shroud of Dusk. This is 2 colors, 2 white, and a black for a legendary creature angel. Rather than pay 2 for each previous time you've cast a spell from the command zone, this game pay 2 life for that many times. Flying lifelink 5/5. Whenever a player plays a spell, including you, they lose 2 life. Alright, so you've seen this deck before, and it's basically kind of stacksy. This one's a little bit more on the friendly side for the most part. And it's basically Kambal. That's all you're doing. You're playing Kambal again. So Kambal, Council of Allocation is 1 color, a white, and a black for a human advisor that is a 2/3. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life, and you gain back 2 life. So that's a really great pair with Liesa to start getting that life back. So we do have some things to search this out. But this works especially well, of course, in a deck that runs Villas, Broker of Blood, 5 colors and 3 black, Legendary Demon, Flying, 1 black and pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until the end of turn. And then whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. Damage, cause life, loss of life. So, yeah, it's kind of obvious, really. But reminder text. Alrighty, let me pick up this big stupid stack. As per usual, my decks are usually focused on all of the fun and not being a trash human. This deck is slightly different. Everyone's gonna be taking some damage from Extort. Blind Obedience, enchantment, 1 colors and 1 white. Extort, so you can play either a black or a white when you play a spell, and each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain that much life. Artifacts and creatures that your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Really very cool indeed. Next up we have... I went through to try and find all my Extort, and I couldn't find much, to be honest. We have a Tithe Drinker. This is a 1 white and a black for a 2/1 vampire with lifelink and Extort. Basically just an Extorter for the fun of it. We got a Treasury Thrall. This is 4 colors, a white and a black for a 4/4 Thrall with Extort. And whenever Treasury Thought attacks... Treasury Thought, yes. Treasury Thrall attacks, you may return target artifact, creature, or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Very handy Thrall. Not many people realize that it's a good play. Speaking of keeping things tapped, we're also running 1 Authority of the Consoles. This is 1 white for an enchantment. And creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain a life. So it's just going to basically keep us back in the game whilst we're taxing people. Speaking of taxing people, we also want to go through the lesser good side of what we're doing. I guess we'll start with Aven Mind Sensor. Flash Flying, 2 colors and a white for a bird wizard that is a 2/1. If an opponent would search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards of their library instead. So pretty much just basically stopping people from tutoring up their win conditions and whatnot. Making people not being able to play the game isn't usually something I would do, but we have a Draneth Magistrate. This is a human wizard 1/3, and your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. So it locks out a whole bunch of stuff. Absolutely locks out commanders. Sorry, not sorry. Speaking of locking people out of zones, we do have Kurinos, the Hound of Athreos. This is 1 white, 1 black, and a colors for a legendary Hound 3/3. Vigilance, Menace, Lifelink. Creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from their graveyards. We also have a Silent Gravestone. This is a 1 colors artifact. Cards in graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities. 4 tap exile Silent Gravestone, and all cards from all graveyards draw a card. We have a copy of Containment Priest, of course. 1 colors and 1 white for a human cleric with flash. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it. Pretty cool. Graph Digger's Cage. Creatures can't enter the... Creature cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Just like really shutting people out, basically. Speaking of, we now get into the Hate Bears portion. So we've got a Tekatli Honor Guard. This is 1 white and 1 colorless for a human soldier. This is a 1/3. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. We have Hushbringer. This is 1 colorless and white for a flying lifelink 1/2. Creatures entering the battlefield or dying don't cause abilities to trigger. So there's a whole heap of decks that really like hoses down or dampens. Damping Matrix, 3 colors. Activated abilities of artifacts and creatures can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Locking people out even further, we have Hushwing Griff. This is 2 colors and white for a flash flying hippogriff. That is a 2/1. And creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Then we want to stop people from maybe attacking us as much, or even casting things as much, because we're taxing everything, so let's continue to tax, shall we? We of course have a copy of Ghostly Prison, enchantment for 2 colors and a white. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that is attacking you. We do have an Aura of Silence. Artifact and creature spells your opponents cast cost 2 more to cast. Sacrifice the aura to destroy target artifact or enchantment for 2 white and a colorless. This leads into our Sphere of Safety for the Safety Dance. This is 4 colors and a white for an enchantment. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control. Now, there's not many enchantments in this deck, but even making them pay at least 1 in the mid game is pretty good because it'll keep them off being able to actually play things. We have Windborn Muse. This is 3 colors and a white for a spirit flying, 2/3. Players can't attack you unless their controller, creatures, pays 2 for each creature that they control that's attacking you. To make sure we have something that we can destroy annoying commanders with, we do have a Bounty Agent. This is 1 colors and a white for a human soldier with Vigilance 2/2. Tap and sacrifice the Bounty Agent. Destroy target legendary permanent that's an artifact, creature, or enchantment. Sadly, doesn't do lands, but I think we can work with that. Alright, so now we want to slow the entire game down so that we can kind of make sure that we're taxing people, that they are still taking enough damage without getting too far ahead, and making sure that we can come back for a really good victory. So let's start preventing them from actually playing Magic. 2 colors and a white for an Eidolon of the Rhetoric. This is a 1/4 enchantment creature spirit. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. We have a Silent Arbiter. This is 4 colors for a 1/5 artifact creature construct. No more than 1 creature can attack each combat. No more than 1 creature can block each combat. Pretty good when you've got some nice big chunky creatures that you can use. Speaking of, we have an Angelic Arbiter. This is 5 colors and 2 white for an Angel 5/6 with flying. Each opponent who casts a spell this turn can't attack with creatures, and each opponent that attacked with creatures can't cast spells this turn. Oh boy, is that going to shut some people off. Yeah. Shutting off life is always a good one, so we've got 1 Erebus, God of the Dead. This is 3 colors and a black for a legendary creature god. It has indestructible, and as long as your devotion to black is less than 5 Erebos isn't a creature, your opponents can't gain life, and then for a single black and a colors, pay 2 life and draw a card. So card draw in this deck is few and far between, so very welcome. Speaking of card draw, your opponents won't know what to do when you're taxing their card draws as well. So this is a Fate Unraveler. This is 3 colors and a black for a hag. This hag is 3/4, and whenever an opponent draws a card, Fate Unraveler deals 1 damage to that player. Yeah, go ahead, Blue Decks. Draw all the cards you want. For tutors, we're running an Enlightened Tutor, so we can search our library for an artifact or enchantment, and then put it on top of our deck for instant speed. We have the more expensive to cast Grim Tutor. For 2 black and a colours for a sorcery, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, shuffle your library, you lose 3 life, which is fine because Villas is going to draw some cards from that. And then we have good old trusty DT, Demonic Tutor, 1 colours and 1 black for a sorcery, search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Alright, so now we want to think about things that assist us in our game plan. Might be a bit of a non-bow in here, a non-bow or two, but pretty much, if you're using these, it pretty much means that you're in a straight, either I'm about to win situation or I need more value. And that means that the answers on the board that would prevent these creatures from actually working have probably already been removed. So the first one is our old friend Sun Titan, who you should already know. It is a Vigilance 6/6, and whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may return target permanent card with a converted mana cost of 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. We are playing a lot of 3 or less. So, very handy, very welcome. Speaking of handy and welcome, we of course have a copy of Shroud Whispered One. This is a Praetor with Swamp Walk for 6/6. And at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Election will help to keep the war at bay. So the Grand Cenobite, this is another Praetor. This is a 4/7 with Vigilance. Other creatures you control get +2/+2, and then creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. Really good against token decks, what a surprise. Now we have our, instead of pseudo finishes that we were just showing, our actual finishes. So, we do have 1 copy of a Pristine Angel, 4 colours and 2 white for a 4/4 with flying. As long as the angel is untapped, it has protection from artifacts and from all colours. Whenever you cast a spell, you may untap the Pristine Angel. We of course have Avacyn Angel of Hope, 5 colours, white, for a legendary angel, and it is an 8/8. It will end the turn real quick. Flying, Vigilance, Indestructible. Other permanents you control have Indestructible. Don't even mind that. Next one is the last one, which is Torrent of Hellfire. This is X black for a sorcery. Repeat the following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life, unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. Blowing things up. Sounds really good. The last thing I want to do is I want to focus a bit in on the Rise of Zendikar dual lands, or whatever you want to call them, the pathway lands. These are amazing. If you can get these in full art, especially in foil, but I don't go foil, so I just went with full art. They are fantastic lands for your commander decks, and you should run them. No, they're not fetchable, so you're just going to have to luck into one, basically, when you're drawing. Speaking of lands, and speaking of commander, we want to put a little bit of a spotlight on the Commander Collector boosters from Commander Legends. Definitely buy them. Look at this. Stunning. Burnished Heart in extended art. Looks great. The Myriad Landscape, I just sold a foil one of these. Also looks great. The Path of Ancestry. There's so many cool extended art cards. I haven't got the Sol Ring yet, but what I did get was a Command Tower in the extended art, and the Piece of Resistance is a Vault of Champions specifically for this deck, which is great to have a Pepper Salt land for this deck in extended art. That is it. That is Liesa. You are tearing me apart. Semi-stacks, a little bit on the light side really, a lot more friendly than usual stacks decks, but stacks nonetheless. The idea is to slow the game down, tax everyone for everything, and then just bash them out with either, incremental extorts, triggers, or hitting them with a big angel until they concede. Thanks for watching. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe because it's free! Don't forget to catch Commander the Distancing every second Sunday, coming back in January, because at the moment we're on hiatus because Christmas. And EDH Boxing League is every Tuesday night. So catch it then, have some fun, love you all, see you later.